Life is precious, and it's beautiful just to wake up in the morning. Before I used to take it all for granted. I didn't care. I didn't care about nothing. I didn't care about family, friends, relatives, achievements. I didn't care about fuck all. I just didn't care. But now, after going to hell and back, I appreciate fresh air and a glass of water.
Gratitude.
Smaller things in life. Because when you've lost, you never know what you've really got until it's gone.
Yeah.
But I've had the opportunity to be shot down and come back. You know, and you really find out who your friends are, who the people are really behind you, who leaves, who jumps off, and everybody just loves a winner. Nobody wants to be around a loser. Nobody wants to be around a man who's lost his mind.
If you're a man in the middle and you don't have the light yet, often you'll find the light by jumping into the dark. The deeper you go, if we imagine, let's imagine the yin and the yang. Let's imagine there's a line in the middle and you have the light and you have the dark underneath it. If you're standing in the middle, the deeper you'll dive into the dark, it's like coiling a spring. The higher you'll bounce back into the light. I mean, I'm sure God's going to give me the scenarios I'm looking for. He's going to give me the good and the bad, and they go together. And anybody at home who is in a negative scenario or in a negative situation who's complaining needs to understand that they need to embrace it and use it as a springboard, because there's no light without dark, and they're equal and opposite forces.
If you have an idea that you genuinely think is good, don't let some idiot talk you out of it. If there is something that you feel is good, something you want to do, something that means something to you, try to do it. Because I think you can only do your best work if you're doing what you want to do, and if you're doing it the way you think it should be done, and if you can take pride in it after you've done it, no matter what it is. You can look at it and say, I did that, and I think it's pretty damn good. That's a great feeling.
It's hard when you're young to wake up in the off season at 6 a.m. to go train and work out, knowing that all your friends are sleeping in and eating pancakes. But understand this, life is hard. No matter who you are, there are bumps and hits and bruises along the way. And my advice is to prepare yourself, because football lessons teach us that success and achievement come from overcoming adversity, and that team accomplishment far exceeds anyone's individual goals. To be successful at anything, the truth is you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. No shortcuts.
Too many of you guys waste way too much time worried about what's going on with other people. And yeah, I understand it can make you jealous. And yeah, I understand it can piss you off. And yeah, I can understand that it ain't fair. But guess what? Life is not fucking fair. And you all worry about this like it is. You're expecting something that will never be. It will never be fair. It will never, ever, 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 ever be fair. Ever. Now what? Are you going to sit on the sideline and cry about how it's not fair? Or are you going to say, well, it's not fair. It's my job to be undeniably great at what I do, because if I'm undeniably great at what I do, then it doesn't really matter if they recognize me here, because they'll recognize me in other places if that's what I need to do as well.
Instead of watching that movie, call your dad. Instead of watching that movie, call your mom. Take her out for dinner if you've got a spare 50 quid instead of getting drunk with your friends. Appreciate the things you have. Most young people don't realize how rich they are. Money can't buy everything. And when I was 18, I was richer than I am today in some ways. I still had my father, for example. So I had no money, but I could call my father anytime I liked and talk to him and shoot the shit, just talk about life. Maybe I wasn't looking for advice. Regardless if the conversation was useful or not, I could have spent more time talking to him, and I didn't. You assume that the things that you have when you're young are going to be around forever. You assume you'll never die, your health will never fade, your parents aren't going to go. You assume all these things and you live every day like every day is going to be the same. But if you're young, appreciate how wealthy you are. I mean, there are children in Palestine right now with no family at all. If you've got both parents, you know, a good home, food to eat, you're very lucky. Enjoy that wealth while it lasts, because you could make $1 billion. But I could almost guarantee that when you're 60, your parents aren't going to be around and you'll trade everything you have just to speak to them again. So you're wealthier than you think. Your life is better than you think. Appreciate the things that you have before you lose them, because you will lose them. It's not a matter of if mom dies, if dad dies, if my grandparents die. Assuming nature goes the right way, it will happen. It's when, it's not if.
Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
You have to have delusion, 100%. You have to be the first person that thinks that you're gonna do what you're about to do. You know, regardless of what anyone else thinks, you gotta believe it. So it is delusional.
There's no losing, only learning. There's no failure, only opportunities. And there's no problems, only solutions. So to me, what failure is the mother of all success. If it wasn't for Michael Jordan getting cut from his 9th grade basketball team, he wouldn't have became Michael Jordan. You know, if it wasn't for, I seen an article the other day where they were talking about Oprah Winfrey and how she got fired because she wasn't good for television. Because all it's gonna do is lead you in the right direction.
It's an amazing thing about passion. If you love something, if you have a strong passion for something, you would go to the extreme to try to understand or try to get it. If you have to walk, you would go get it. If you have to beg someone, you would go get it.
Go after your dreams, right? Go after it. I never compromised that. I never allowed anybody to tell me what I was capable of accomplishing. I never let anybody tell me that I can't do, right? I went after it. If you want to accomplish something or do something that a lot of people think is difficult to accomplish, you have to put all your eggs in one basket, and there's no compromise.
From Dublin, Ireland, the reigning, defending 155-pound champion of the UFC, the notorious Conor McGregor!
Yo, we all are great. We all should think that we're great. There's no reason for you to not think that you're great. If you don't think you're great, ask yourself why. Why don't you think the highest of yourself? When you do, people have no choice but to follow suit.
I say that madness and genius are next door neighbors and they borrow each other's sugar.
This is true.
You have to be like literally fucking up almost every other part of your life to achieve real greatness.
Yep.
Because you gotta abandon personal relationships, you gotta be totally unbalanced, completely obsessed and focused upon your goal.
It's not fucking fair. So how do I make it as fair as possible for me? Well, you make it as fair as possible for you by being great at what you do. And that takes you not looking at them, but looking at what it is that you do, how good you actually are, and making the adjustments to be great from the position that you are currently in.
Gratitude is one of the most overlooked and key principles to your success. If your goal is to be a millionaire, and you start out making $20,000 a year, and then God gets you to 50, but you mad because you ain't a millionaire. But hold up, man. Do you not remember that just a minute ago you didn't have but 20? So you got to show gratitude for the 50. Then somehow, by the grace of God, you get to 150. It's people making 150 who used to be dead broke, mad because they not a millionaire. Hold up, partner. Do you remember when you was just making the 50? Now you done triple that, and you gotta understand that there's joy in the journey. So if you don't show the proper amount of gratitude, you're never gonna be happy, you're never gonna be content, and after a while, man, God gonna get tired of you.
I don't care if I lose everything. I don't care what happens. Nothing really is ours anyway in life. We only borrow it until we die, and it all goes. The only thing we truly own in this life is moments in time. Like, this is a moment in time for me that will never be erased. And no matter what happens, this is always going to be my time. This will be my moment in time because I lived here and I was a part of this. You know, everything else, this bag, this watch, these clothes, they will all go. What does it really matter?
Create a life that you can't wait to wake up to. I live that life. I hate to sleep. I hate sleeping. I love every minute of my life. Love every minute of it. I can't wait to wake up tomorrow. I can't wait to start tomorrow. And when you really feel that way, I really don't give a shit about a lot of things. Everybody judges by success of money or business accomplishments or games you won and things like that. The true measure of success is how happy are you? I know some guys that are fucking crazy rich and the most miserable human beings you could ever meet. If you get up every day and you're really happy and you really do enjoy and love your life and you love doing, you're surrounded by people you love doing it with, you could not be more successful.
Winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners. That's reality. And dude, this is something that people just can't get through their head. They want everything to be fucking fair. It is not ever going to be fair. Ever. There are going to be people that are better looking than you. There are going to be people that have better genetics than you. There are going to be people that are smarter than you. They're going to have people that have more money than you, or grew up in a better family, or have more advantages, or have more opportunities. So what?
You're making a big mistake to always look for comfort, because comfort is the evil of everything. Comfort is not good. Looking for the easy way out is not good. Is if you got to go and confront kind of resistance, and it's like Nietzsche said, that what does not kill you will make you stronger. And this is exactly what it is. If we can overcome kind of like all those obstacles, then we get strong. And we can endure much more, and we look at the world totally differently, and we don't whine about every little thing.
Hey, where do I start? And when's the best time to start? And I have a very simple answer for that. Here and now. That's it. You want to improve? You want to get better? You want to get on a workout program or a clean diet? You want to start a business? You want to write a book or make a movie or build a house or a computer or put together some mobile application? Where do you start? You start right here. And when do you start? You start right now.
You have to start with action. It needs to be, okay, what would have had to have happened in a week's time for me to look back on that week and find pride in myself? Maybe stop breaking promises to yourself. When you say, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 7 a.m. and when the option comes to hit the snooze button, don't do it. There's one win that you've got for the day. That's action.
This is so true. And when you do these things, you'll start seeing that, okay, well, I used to do this. And when you go out and you don't do it anymore, it's very, very clear that you've made the right decision, because your friends will still be doing that. And you'll find yourself that you don't fit in with that crowd anymore. You just don't fit in.
Okay, it's your job to assess where are you and then take the action to get where you want to go, regardless of where you start, regardless of where someone else starts. And so many people tell themselves this ridiculous story about all these advantages that other people have, when in reality, a lot of times these people didn't even have those advantages. So it becomes a self-victimizing story that people tell.